My name is Aneesa Chaudhry, and I will guide you through a short relaxation. And I invite you to come on a journey and use your imagination. Today, we will take a walk in nature. Take your time to settle into your position and make yourself comfortable, making any adjustments you need. Relax, take a breath, and notice how you feel today. This relaxation is an opportunity for our bodies and minds to feel rest. Notice the bed or chair beneath you and allow your body to sink into it as it supports you. This is a time just for you. Notice your breathing. Listen to the sound of it and follow the rhythm like waves lapping on the shore of a peaceful, sandy beach. Today's visualization will take us on a journey in our imagination where we can be free of our physical limitations. And now I will begin. The sky is blue and the sun is bright as you look through the window whilst you get ready for your walk. You can see the trees moving with the wind, so you choose a soft scarf to put on with your coat. It's snug and warm against your neck as you wrap it securely around yourself, looking at the brightly coloured stripes in between your fingers. You zip up your coat and, feeling it snug around you, step outside for your walk. The air feels cold on your face, but your body is warm, and with the breeze comes the soft scent of spring. You can smell the daffodils that have just bloomed in a front garden, and see the purple crocuses with the bright orange stamen in the centre and the whiteness of the snowdrops contrasting with the smooth, darker green of their leaves. You walk along a little and instantly smell a soft fragrance, the familiar scent of lavender. Not too strong, just familiar and almost comforting. It reminds you of a happy memory from your childhood days. You continue to walk towards the scent, and you can now see the unusually big lavender bush stretched ahead of you in a garden. It spans from the ground past head height and taller. Walking towards it, you decide to stop next to it and take in the large canvas and its sea of purple. The different shades of colour standing out against one another strike you. Some are vibrant and some are pale. So many different shades of one colour. You think about leaning your head in a little so that you can smell the scent a little stronger. As soon as you do, your nose and cheek brush against it, and you feel the slightly rough texture tickling your nose. You stay there a few seconds, drinking the smell of lavender. As you bring your head away, you stand in front of it. There is a temptation to squeeze a very tiny piece of the lavender between your fingers so that the scent can accompany you on your walk. Just a tiny piece without breaking it off. As you come away from the bush and the vast wall of purple, you look to the far end of the purple wall and see a big bumblebee hovering next to it. You turn away, content, and ready to continue your walk. The soft ray of the sun is gently stroking your face, and a welcome warmth to the fresh day. You bring your fingers to your nose, and the smell of lavender makes you smile. You turn onto a gravel path, and it moves beneath your feet as you walk along, each step producing a crunching sound. You walk up some wide, shallow steps, lengthening your stride in order to accommodate their width, and counting them in your head as you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The steps lead into a community wood. The pathway is muddy, and the sun is blinking through the trees as you follow it. As you get deeper into the woods, you notice the busier sound of everyday life being replaced with the purer sound of nature. Branches crack under your feet, and the tall trees welcome you. You notice a long, thin silver birch, its shiny and smooth bark lighting your way. Not far from that, a large oak tree, a symbol of strength, morale, resistance, and knowledge. It is comforting to know that they appeared on our planet 65 million years ago. Imagine if we too could live 1,000 years like an oak tree. You approach the tree and notice its acorns on the floor, one of the 10 million acorns it produces in its lifetime. A squirrel scuttles towards you, its big eyes staring hard as it grabs an acorn and scuppers up the tree into the branches. His sporadic movements as he darts about from one branch to the next create a wave of branches all moving at different speeds as he scurries from one to the next. Maybe it's the idea that someone will take his acorn, but he moves with speed and erratic precision around the tree. The rustle of the leaves in the wind sounds like Mother Nature herself, telling you that the day is young and yours to enjoy. The breeze is gentle, playing with the leaves, and then it disappears. You continue your walk, now noticing all the shades of brown surrounding you, from the muddy pathway to the trees. It's like being in a real-life paint palette. There is a pale, dry mud underfoot, a darker brown in a puddle, different shades of brown on the trunk of a tree to that of its smaller branches. Mud, glorious mud, everywhere. In front of you is a rope with a stick at the bottom of it, hanging from a strong tree. A group of children are standing next to it, and one of them jumps onto the stick. The others are laughing and pushing the stick so the child on it swings back and forth, joyfully shouting with delight. His fingers gripping the bristly rope tight, and his hair sweeping back from his face as the wind blows against him as he moves. You stand and watch for a while. The chattering of the children's voices washes over you, and you rest your hand on the back of a nearby tree. The ridges feel spongy under your hand, and a rough texture scratches your skin. The pieces break away from the tree, and you rub it between your fingers. It crumbles into small, damp pieces, and you smell the musty wood smell it releases as it falls to the floor. Ahead of you is a wooden fence marking the perimeter of the wood. Ivy has twisted and entwined around the posts, the dark green, veined leaves fluttering in the breeze, rustling gently against the fence. At the base of the fence are clusters of primroses, the smooth, pale yellow flowers nestling on top of the green, bumpy leaves, contrasting against the darkness of the ivy. You follow the path along, up the hill a bit. Your breath becomes a little faster as your legs take on the challenge of the slope, but you find that you can do it with ease. And smile to yourself as you find your stride. You're feeling a little warm now, so you unwrap your scarf and let it hang loose around your neck, and unzip your coat, feeling the cool breeze freshly around you. The trees begin to thin out and open onto the grassland at the top of the hill. The grass is short and feels firm and springy under your feet. You take big, deep breaths of the cool, fresh air, slightly salty from the nearby sea and filling your lungs with health and vitality. The seagulls wheel and cry overhead, swooping and diving on the air currents, their voices rough and coarse, but distant as the wind carries them away out to sea. Nearer the ground, you notice several skylarks, dipping in and out of the longer grass ahead of you in groups of 8 or 9. They disappear momentarily, and then something alarms them. They rise up as a group, their wings fluttering and flapping as they rise skywards, trilling their sweet song, zigzagging into the air. Further down the path is a person carrying a dog lead that catches the sun and sends out a beam of light towards you. The person bends down and picks up a rubbery ball from the grass and throws it for the dog. It bounces erratically over the path and lands just to the side of you. The dog trots over, sniffing the ground. You can hear the air whistling in and out of its nose as it searches, and see its tongue panting and steaming. It wanders over to you, its tail wagging in a friendly way, and you bend down to stroke it. Your fingers entwine in its golden fur, which is deep and coarse, and you gently scratch its skin as it stands and looks at you with delight. Your hands move to the softer skin on its head, and you stroke its velvety ears, enjoying the silky sensation. The dog owner's voice calls out, and the dog pricks up its ears and gives you a soft bark as it collects the ball with its mouth and turns and runs in the direction of the voice. Its paws thud against the grass, and its breath comes out noisily as it moves away from you. In the distance, you hear a tractor chugging over the fields, and the noise gets louder as you follow the path down the hill again towards a farm. You walk past horses munching on fresh hay. You can hear the sound of their teeth chewing and the sweet smell of the hay as it breaks in their mouths. Their tails flick lazily and brush against their skin to move the flies, the swish of the coarse hair making the insects buzz and fly away. The horse looks up as you approach, the hay sticking out of the corners of its soft, rubbery lips, and its sharp, pointy whiskers above that. It watches you cautiously. You hold your hand out, and it moves its head towards you, the lips grazing against your fingers as it sniffs your hand. He shifts on the cement of the yard, the hooves making a metallic sound, and slipping slightly as he moves his position. A lady approaches carrying a saddle and a rein for the horse. She gives you a cheery greeting and undoes the saddle from the fence, a thick rope coiling around her hands as she calls to the horse and turns its head so it walks away, its hooves clip-clopping and its tail swishing in the air. She takes it to a nearby stable and puts the saddle on its back. The hard leather shining softly in the sun as it rests on the horse. The buckles of the girth clink together as she bends down underneath the horse and threads the straps through the metallic pieces of the buckle and tightens it up. She gives the horse a tap to reassure it, her hand slapping against the muscular, firm shoulders of the horse. She then moves to put the harness and reins onto the horse's head. The bit jangles as she carefully inserts it into the horse's mouth and clacks against its teeth as it moves into position. She does up the thin leather straps around its neck to secure it into place, and the horse is ready to be taken out for a ride. She puts her feet through the stirrups and swings up into the saddle, landing with a satisfying thump on top of the horse. She squeezes her heels into the horse's side, and the horse trots off out of its courtyard and onto the muddy path away from you. The path ends by a stream. Willow trees overhang the water, and the stream gurgles and bubbles as it moves over the pebbles. The green weed sways in the water, and pale fish flick by, carried by the current as it moves downstream. From under the protective tendrils of the tree appears a duck, paddling gently, her beady brown eyes alert for any hazards. She opens her beak and quacks, and 6 ducklings follow her from the tree cover, their fluffy feathers holding onto the water droplets, and their tiny webbed feet paddling excitedly as they call out to each other and to their mum, and huddle together as the water carries them onwards. There are some long grasses growing by the side of the stream, and you reach down to pluck one up. The blades feel slightly sticky to your touch and have a rough surface. There is some resistance as you pull, but it comes away, and you kneel by the water and drop it in, watching it swirl and spring, gradually drifting away. The water feels cool on your hand, and you let your fingers relax so it seems like the current is moving them as it gurgles past. You rest there for a while, hearing the sounds of blackbirds singing nearby, the water rushing and the trees blowing gently in the wind. You cross a wooden bridge, holding onto the smoothed handrail as you walk, your shoes making an echo sound as you go over the water, and then you are back onto the village pavement. A ginger tomcat is sitting nearby on the rough stone wall. It jumps off as you approach and weaves around your legs, purring noisily, a throbbing sound that increases as you stroke his back, following the soft flow of his fur. You pause to inhale 3 big, deep breaths of springtime before deciding to venture slowly back homewards. As you turn back, the ginger tomcat approaches once again and weaves around your legs. You give it a stroke and enjoy the sound of its gentle purr as you stroke him behind his neck. He arches his back as his tail glides through your fingers before he scuppers away to find his next adventure. As you step onto the wooden bridge, you notice the sun glistening on the water and the sound of the stream running over the rocks. The sound is meditative and soothing, so you stop a while to listen with your eyes closed. You feel a welcoming, gentle breeze on your skin to cool off the heat of the sun. In the distance, you hear children's voices, and as you open your eyes, Two young children approach the wooden bridge with sticks. You smile as you watch them drop their big sticks into the water and think of Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin playing Pooh sticks. The boys run from one side of the bridge to the other, eagerly awaiting their sticks to appear first. The smaller of the boys cheers with delight, and they laugh together, pointing at their sticks as they get washed further away downstream. At that moment, you see the mother duck and her ducklings reappear, neatly lined up behind her. They appear from under the bridge and head towards the riverbank to stop a while. As soon as you approach the farm, you hear the hum of the tractor and see the horses in the fields and fresh hay bales just off the track you are walking along. You decide to sit for a moment and have a sip of lovely fresh water to quench your thirst. The firmness yet softness of the bale is a welcoming break for your feet for a moment. In the distance, you see the farmer and his dog rounding up his sheep, and you take joy in the skill of their teamwork. The fresh farm smells are not overbearing, and they remind you of happy times of walking through fields and country walks. A little further along, you see a huge bull with a ring in its nose. He is chewing a big bale of hay and is surprisingly large. His brown body, very muscular, and his feet, large. He is strong in appearance, and his eyes soft as he concentrates on his food. His mouth moves slowly as he chews and chews his food. He has all the time in the world. It is time to leave and continue the journey home. Once again, you meander through the community wood, placing your hand against the bark of the tree, feeling the cool wood on your palms. You trot down the wide shallow steps and turn onto the gravel path, hearing the crunching sound beneath your feet. You pick up the scent of the daffodils again as you walk past the snowdrops and crocuses. On your way back, you notice how refreshed you feel from this time walking in nature. The sounds, the sights, colours, textures, and the variety of scents and smells. Mother Nature at her best. And now, take a moment to notice your breath and the gentle rhythm of your own heartbeat. The rise and fall of your stomach, like the swing dancing in the distance. And gradually become aware of your own surroundings, noticing the bed or chair beneath you, the texture of fabric or clothing supporting you. Gently bring your awareness back into the room, noticing any sounds, and sense yourself still, calm, and at ease. And as you adjust, try to hold on to whatever this visualization held for you this afternoon, and carry that quality into the next part of your day. Slowly, becoming aware of your rested body and taking your time, very gently begin to move your fingers and toes, moving with kindness and looking after yourself. And when you feel ready, slowly open your eyes. It's been a pleasure to relax with you today. Thank you for joining me on this lovely walk in nature.